got Wall Street Journal Wonderland columnist Dan Henninger, who joins us to talk about two very revealing commencement speeches delivered recently by the president and by GOP candidate Mitt Romney. Dan, welcome.
Good to see you, Mary.
Dan, commencement speeches are always fun. I had Alan Greenspan at the top of the internet bubble, a real winner of a speech.
Right.
Probably not a winner of a speech. But the president spoke at Barnard College. Mitt Romney spoke at Liberty University. And these two speeches said some very interesting things about these two men's worldviews. Let's start with the president. What did you learn about him in this speech?
Well, you probably wouldn't expect to find much about a political candidate inside a commencement speech. It's just supposed to be wise, uplifting thoughts to graduates as they go off into the world. But I thought these two speeches by Obama and Romney actually were rather revealing. And in Obama's case at Barnard, I was struck by how totally and overwhelmingly political the speech was. I mean, you do talk to these graduates about life and so forth. And in Barack Obama's world, life is defined by politics. And he said such things as, he told the graduates that it was their obligation to go out and literally right wrongs, point out injustice, hold the system accountable, and upend the system entirely if that was necessary. He said, what rights we have today, such as women's rights, voting rights, workers' rights, and gay rights, all emerged from political activities. The women's suffrage meeting at Seneca Falls in 1848, Selma, the Stonewall protest for gay rights in Greenwich Village years ago. And the other interesting thing about it was he seemed to suggest that someone would always be trying to hold them down. And an example he gave, Labor Secretary Hilda Solis, who he said was told in high school that she shouldn't attend college, she wasn't college material. He noted that his grandmother had worked for a bank and then she hit a glass ceiling, and she said they could expect more of the same and would have to fight against it. And I thought in all it was a fairly kind of grim message. It was what life ahead for them was going to be mostly a proletarian struggle. But it was just the fact that so much of what he described was totally political activity.
We're talking to Wall Street Journal Wonderland columnist Dan Henninger on two recent commencement speeches by the two presidential candidates. So let's turn to Mr. Romney. Another grim, dim view of the world, or something different?
No, it was really interestingly different, Mary. He was at Liberty University, which is the Christian evangelical school founded by Jerry Falwell. And clearly, Mr. Romney has got some bridges to cross with the evangelicals. And by most reports, he did a pretty good job of that. But the thing that struck me about Romney's presentation is that it was not so utterly political, though he did talk about politics, but he said that political life was reflected more at the personal level, and he described conscience and moral formation as perhaps the greatest force in American life for change. And he said progress, for instance, was the result of what he describes as the call to service. He talked several times about service, which I must point out is a strong Mormon value. You know, they always go out in for a year or more and provide service around the world. He described this as one of the fundamental elements of our national character. And it struck me that Mr. Romney was really trying to relate something at the personal level and moral formation at the personal level to social progress in a way that was really quite distinct from the kind of organized, massive political activity that President Obama was describing. Two really different worldviews about the role of politics in American life.